Most parents raise successful children. Far fewer raise children who genuinely respect them. Those two outcomes are not as connected as most parents assumed they would be. And if you are in your 60s or 70s looking at a relationship with an adult child that is more transactional than you expected, more distant than you planned, or more one-sided than anyone would have predicted from the years you invested, Nietzsche's framework explains exactly how that happened, not to assign blame. To diagnose a specific mistake that was made in good faith by millions of parents who were trying to do the right thing. Here's the assumption at the center of it. Most parents operated, consciously or not, on a belief that went something like this: if I love my children enough, provide for them well enough, and help them become successful enough, the respect will follow naturally. It is the output of a good parent-child relationship. It comes with the territory. Nietzsche's entire career was an argument against the idea that anything valuable comes automatically from a role or a relationship. His critique of assumed authority, the belief that a title, a position, or a relationship entitles you to the genuine deference of another person, was one of his most consistent themes. Authority that is not continuously demonstrated is not retained, he argued. It is simply assumed to be present while it quietly disappears. The parent-child relationship has more assumed authority built into it than almost any other human relationship. And that assumption, that the child will naturally, eventually, of course, respect the parent, is precisely what made the erosion invisible until it was significant. The specific moment you may recognize. Your adult child calls. And before they have finished the greeting, you can already tell from the tone whether this is a call to connect or a call to ask for something. The money request. The favor that requires your time, your contacts, your involvement in a problem they've created. The conversation that is warm and engaged until the ask has been made and then shortens toward a conclusion. Or the family gathering. The one where you say something and it lands in a brief silence before someone younger redirects the conversation. Where your opinion on something you have more experience in than anyone else in the room is received with the polite acknowledgement given to something irrelevant. Or the way your adult child speaks to you in a tone they would not use with a colleague, would not use with a stranger. A tone that implies you are someone whose reaction does not need to be managed with the same care they extend to people whose respect they are still trying to earn. These are not dramatic events. They do not look like failures from the outside. They are the accumulated texture of a relationship in which respect was assumed and never specifically built. Nietzsche made a distinction that most parenting discussions never make. He separated earned authority from assumed authority. Earned authority is the deference given to a person who has consistently demonstrated something worth deferring to, a standard, a capability, a quality of judgment, a way of carrying themselves that others observe and respond to. Assumed authority is the deference expected from a role. I am your parent. I am your elder. I gave you the years and the resources. The respect is owed. His argument was simple and uncomfortable. Assumed authority produces compliance when it produces anything. It does not produce genuine respect. Genuine respect is a response to something witnessed, to the consistent evidence that a person holds themselves to a standard, maintains that standard under pressure, and does not lower it to seek approval. A child who grows up watching a parent do that does not need to be told to respect them. The respect is produced by the observation. A child who grows up watching a parent claim respect from a role, from sacrifice, from provision, from the sheer weight of what was given, learns something different. They learn that respect is a debt, and debts, in adult relationships, are resented more than they are repaid. Here is the sharper point, and the one that is hardest to sit with. The achievement you optimized for taught your children something specific, not what you intended to teach them, what you actually taught them. You measured their success by grades, by career, by status, by the external markers that the world uses to evaluate a person's worth. You were trying to give them advantages. You were not wrong to want those things for them. But the lesson they internalized, the one that was taught not by your words but by where your attention and approval consistently went, was this: achievement is what determines a person's value. External markers are what matter. And then they became adults, and they applied that lesson consistently to everyone in their life, including you. If achievement is what grants respect, and your achievements are now behind you, while theirs are current and visible and growing, the math is not sentimental. It is the lesson you taught them, applied without the exception you assumed your role would provide. Midpoint. And this is the question that reframes everything before it. What did you model about self-respect while you were raising them? Not what you said, what they observed. When someone in the family treated you dismissively, what happened? Did you hold a standard, or did you absorb it to preserve the peace? When your own needs conflicted with keeping everyone comfortable, which won? When you had a boundary that was tested, did you hold it? Or did you demonstrate, repeatedly, that your boundaries could be negotiated away by someone sufficiently persistent or sufficiently upset? Children learn respect not from being taught it, but from watching it lived. The parent who holds themselves with genuine self-respect, who does not accept treatment they would not extend to others, who does not lower their standard to avoid conflict, who demonstrates through actual behavior that there is a cost to disrespect. That parent is teaching something real. The parent who absorbs disrespect to keep the family peace, who accepts less than they would accept from a stranger because the relationship feels too important to risk. That parent is also teaching something real. Both lessons are learned. Neither was announced. The accommodation pattern and why it compounded. Every time you accepted a tone you should not have accepted. Every time you laughed off something dismissive to avoid a scene. Every time you gave the money anyway, did the favor anyway, swallowed the frustration anyway, because the alternative felt like damaging something you had spent decades building. Each of those moments sent a precise message to your adult child's nervous system, not to their conscience. Children are not sitting down to evaluate your response philosophically, to their learned behavior, to their understanding, built through repetition, of what the cost of disrespect is in this specific relationship. When the cost is consistently zero, when disrespect is met with accommodation, with warmth restored quickly, with the relationship preserved at whatever cost, the behavior is reinforced. Not because your child is calculating, because that is how behavioral learning works in every human being. You did not intend to teach that disrespect is free. But the lesson was taught anyway, through the pattern of your responses over years. What actually builds respect, and what can be done about it now? This is not a repair manual for a damaged relationship. Some of what has been established over decades takes years to shift. But Nietzsche's answer to how genuine authority is built, earned, demonstrated, maintained, applies at any point in the relationship. Hold a standard, one that is visible, not stated as a lecture but demonstrated in behavior. When something is said to you that you would not say to another person, name it once, clearly, without drama, not as an accusation, as information about what you will and will not accept. Do not pursue the relationship harder than your child pursues it. Availability without reciprocity is not generosity. It is a communication that your time and attention have no value that needs to be earned. Restore your own self-respect visibly, not performed, real. The things you gave up, the opinions you stopped expressing, the interests you minimized to fit the space the relationship allowed, bring them back, not as a protest, because a person with a full life and genuine self-respect is more respectable than a parent who has organized their existence around a relationship that is not reciprocating. Nietzsche's framework says, respect follows demonstration, not from the past, from what is demonstrated now. It is not too late to demonstrate something different, but it requires giving up the expectation that love alone, and everything it cost, should have been enough. It should have been. It wasn't. Those are both true. And only one of them is actionable. Tell me where I'm wrong. Comment section is open, and I read every one of them. Subscribe if this actually made you think. Philosophy every week. No fluff, no motivation posters.